What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my full card breakdown and prediction video for UFC Abu Dhabi. We have Robert Whittaker going against Reinier, the Ritter. And yeah, we are right back after it here for a pretty solid fight night card. I'm actually looking forward to this card quite a bit. It is going to be also an early start time, which I absolutely love. These fights are going to be kicking off in the afternoon. At least if you're on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, they'll be kicking off in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, looking forward to these fights, looking forward to watching them. And then after the fights are over, you get a Saturday night, which, we don't typically get as fight fans. And you can use that Saturday night to go out there, maybe, spend time with some family, maybe spend time with some friends. Maybe go to the strip club, support your local strippers. I mean, they need support too, so go support them. And yeah, looking forward to this card, looking forward to breaking it all down. Before we do so, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. I want to say thank you guys so much for a lot of people subscribed last week, and like I said, I'm trying to reach 30K by the end of the year. We do have some work to do. We are about 1.2K away from 30K, so a couple months left to do it. So if you guys do enjoy the content, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It does mean a ton. We did a contest last week for UFC 318, and the contest was the significant strike contest between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. And these guys went out there over 5 rounds, and they landed 307 significant strikes. And I do got to shout out my guy Russell with a guess of 307. There are a bunch of people that were close. A couple people were, 1 or 2 away, but Russell got it right on the dot. So shout out to Russell. Russell, if you could hit me up on Twitter or Instagram with your PayPal or Cash App, I will get you your winnings there, sir. Incredible guess. So shout out to Russell for that. But yeah, outside of that, be on the lookout for more content. We have some good cards coming up. We have Dana White's Contender Series coming up as well. So a lot of stuff to be looking forward to as fight fans, and I'm looking forward to this card. So let's get right into it here with the first fight of the night. It is going to be Marcus Buchecha going against Martin Buday. We have Buchecha, who's sitting as a minus 300 favorite. Martin Buday is sitting as a plus 250 underdog. And yeah, I was interested to seeing, Buchecha. I mean, Buchecha, this is a guy that is a very high level BJJ black belt. I think he's like a 17-time world BJJ champion. You look through his Tapology, you'll see a ton of grappling matches. And yeah, Buchecha, this guy is the real deal when it comes to the grappling. And then you look at his MMA fights thus far, and it's like, yeah, this guy seems to have put it all together. His striking still is a work in progress. He's talking about how he wants to go out there and showcase his striking in some fights, and then he goes out there and gets takedowns and gets on top of his opponent. So I haven't really seen the striking as much, but I mean, he really doesn't need it, because the wrestling is pretty good and the grappling is just elite. And he's going against Martin Buday, who's a brown belt, but I just haven't seen any grappling whatsoever outside of the Josh Parisian fight, where he really didn't even try to take down Josh Parisian. It was kind of Parisian clinching up and trying to take him down, and Buday kind of reversed him and got him down. But yeah, outside of that, Buday has landed, I think, maybe 1 takedown in the UFC. So you go back and watch Buday fights outside of the UFC, and yes, he is able to get guys down and get on top, and his ground game does look good. But in the UFC, it looks like all he really wants to do is use that size, because he's a big dude. He's 6'4", big dude. This guy cuts down to heavyweight. He wants to use that size. He wants to push you against the cage, and he wants to wear on you. And that's what he's probably going to try to do here. But I have a feeling that Buchecha is going to get Buday down. And I have a very funny feeling that once Buchecha gets on top of Martin Buday, there's just going to be just absolute levels in the grappling. I have a funny feeling that Martin Buday is probably not that great off of his back. So yeah, I think Buchecha gets it done. I think he gets it done early. If this fight does get extended round 2, round 3, I think it's going to get greasy. I think it's going to get sloppy, but I think Buchecha takes down Buday, gets on top, and finishes the fight by either ground and pound. Could be a submission, but I think he finishes the fight in round 1. Could be Buchecha. I'll say first round ground and pound knockout. Up next, we have Stephen Nguyen going against Muhammad Yahya. We got Stephen Nguyen sitting as a minus 320 favorite. Muhammad Yahya sitting at plus 270. And I'm a little upset because I researched the majority of these fights last week, and they had lines out for every single fight besides this one. And I was hoping, man, I really like Nguyen this week. Hopefully I can get him at a playable price tag. No, absolutely not. I mean, he's minus 320, which is kind of crazy considering, Nguyen isn't even that great. Nguyen is one of these guys who he's okay. He's okay. He has solid volume. He has solid wrestling, solid grappling. He has really good cardio, really good durability, but he's not going to really blow you away in any area. So I thought, hey, maybe I can get a solid price tag on Stephen Nguyen, because I just think Muhammad Yahya is the worst to do it. I mean, Muhammad Yahya might be one of the worst fighters to ever enter the UFC. I mean, I'm just not sure what Yahya's good at. Like, I don't think he's a great striker. He has no volume. He has no power. He made Trevor Peek look like Islam Makhachev. I mean, I just don't really understand why Muhammad Yahya is in the UFC. This will be a home fight for him, but I mean, outside of that, it's like, how's he going to win it? I just don't know. So I would pick literally anybody against Muhammad Yahya. So by default, I'm taking Stephen Nguyen, but it's like Stephen Nguyen's not a guy you want to lay minus 320 on. Is kind of what's tricky about it. But yeah, I'll go Nguyen here. I don't think Yahya has good cardio. I don't think he has good durability. I think his grappling's a 0. So yeah, give me Stephen Nguyen to win this fight, and I think he probably does finish Yahya in the later rounds. I'll say Stephen Nguyen to win this fight by 3rd round knockout. Up next, we have a kind of a tricky one here. We got Ibo Aslan going against Billy Elekana. We got Ibo Aslan, who is minus 250. Elekana, who's sitting as a plus 210 underdog. And yeah, the lines lately have just been really inflated. Like, we're seeing favorites that are way too big of a favorite. Even like last week's Zellhuber. I think Zellhuber closed at like minus 900. Holland, same thing. Holland closed at like minus 800. Like, these lines are just getting inflated week after week. And this is another instance where I don't really think Aslan should be minus 250 here. But, Aslan, he's only 29 years old. And he has a ton of power. That's kind of what he's really good at, is he has a ton of power. I think his takedown defense is pretty good. He was taken down a couple times by Kudalaba, but typically his takedown defense is pretty good. So he's able to keep fights standing for the most part. And he actually went out there, and I went to his Instagram. Apparently he did like a documentary and put it on YouTube. I didn't watch it yet. I might watch it, I might not. But he went to Dagestan, and apparently he did his camp in Dagestan and kind of documented it. So I think that's pretty interesting, and that's good. I mean, that's great for Ibo Aslan. I mean, that's going to obviously help you a ton. Full camp in Dagestan, that's not going to hurt, right? So he's taking on Billy Elekana, who, yeah, I'm just not sure what he's that great at. They brought in Elekana against Bogdan Guskov. Guskov lost his opponent. In steps Billy Elekana. I'm just not sure what Elekana is good at. I mean, he has solid... I would say he has solid cardio, but his cardio looked awful in his last fight. He did take it on short notice, but still, I think he's, typically a durable fighter, but he was getting, beat up bad in his last fight against Guskov. Guskov does hit hard, but I mean, so does Ibo Aslan. I don't like the volume of Elekana, the striking defense of Elekana. So, yeah, Aslan, again, another guy you just don't want to lay minus 250 on. I don't think he has the best cardio. He's pretty one-dimensional, and that dimension is him going out there and taking off your head, and I think that's probably what happens here. And yeah, maybe we do see a ton of improvements out of Aslan, going out there and working and with in Dagestan. So yeah, I think Aslan should win this fight. I think he probably does knock out Elekana. I know Elekana's tough, but he's super hittable, and Aslan hits super hard. So again, I'm going to take Ibo Aslan to win this fight. I'll take him to win this fight by 2nd round knockout. Next up, we have Imen Ribas going against Tabatha Ricci. We got Ribas minus 170, Ricci plus 150. And I wanted to make a case for Ricci here, but I just really couldn't, because at the end of the day, I think Ribas is the better striker. I think she's going to have the minute winning ability in the striking. Tabatha Ricci, she's low volume at times. She has a very small reach, 61-inch reach. Like, that's one of the smallest reaches you'll see. I mean, currently, I know Corey McKenna had a 59-inch reach, but Corey McKenna got cut. So Ricci might have like the smallest reach on the roster. So Ribas is going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. You look at Ricci, she has a negative significant strike differential, whereas Ribas does not. So yeah, I think on the feet I favor Ribas. The only thing I don't like about Ribas is the chin. She's getting hurt in a lot of fights, but Tabatha Ricci's not hurting or knocking out anybody, so I don't think that's a worry here. And then when it comes to the grappling, although both are black belts, although both have very good judo and solid wrestling, I favor Ribas in the grappling as well. So this is one of those fights where I have to pick Ribas. I think she's the better striker. I think she's the better grappler. I think she's the better fighter overall. But yeah, maybe it could be close. It could be competitive. Ricci's been to a ton of competitive fights. a ton of split decision type fights, and maybe we see that here. But in terms of making a pick, I got to go with Ribas here. I think she's just a little bit better everywhere. So give me Amanda Ribas by decision. Next up, we have Damon Blackshear going against Davey Grant. We got Blackshear minus 310. Davey Grant is plus 260. And this is a very interesting fight because this is a fight IQ test. I hate these fights. I hate these types of fights. Fight IQ tests where you have fighter A, and he's a big favorite, but to look like a big favorite, he has to fight smart. Kind of like Jimmy Crute, Marcin Prachnio last week. Crute's a big favorite. To look like a big favorite, he needs to fight smart, needs to wrestle, and he did that. Damon Blackshear, if he's looking anywhere near minus 310, he needs to grapple here, and I'm worried he won't. That's the worry. Damon Blackshear seems to have fallen in love with his hands, which is a big mistake in general, and a big mistake in this fight, because went back and watched the Cody Stamann fights. I thought Stamann was about to knock out, not Stamann, Gibson. Cody Gibson fight. I thought Gibson was about to knock out Damon Blackshear in round 1. I had a big parlay with Damon Blackshear in it. I had Damon Blackshear by submission. I was very heavy on Blackshear, and Gibson goes out there and proceeds to outland Damon Blackshear. It was like 30-6 in the first round. Damon Blackshear was not reacting to getting hit that great. Like he looked hurt. He looked like he was about to get knocked out by Cody Gibson. And it was like I didn't like how he was reacting to punches in the Alatang fight as well. And he did get knocked out in 18 seconds by Montel Jackson. So typically, this guy Blackshear is a durable guy, but I don't think he likes getting hit. So he probably should grapple, but he hasn't in 4 fights. He hasn't in 4 fights. 0 takedowns in the last 4 fights for Damon Blackshear. So if he grapples here, he's not only going to look minus 310, he's going to look minus probably 500, because Davey Grant, he is 39 years old. He's turning 40 in a couple months. Davey Grant offensively does have some, sneaky jiu-jitsu. He does have a couple submissions here and there. Got Rafael Assunção not too long ago. But Davey Grant defensive grappling is very bad. I went back and watched every single fight where Davey Grant was forced to grapple, stuff takedowns, and it's bad. I mean, he's giving up dominant positions easily. He's guys are getting into mount instantly. Guys are taking his back instantly. This guy is making mistake after mistake after mistake in the grappling. And if Damon Blackshear gets on top of Davey Grant, I think it's probably over shortly after. Damon Blackshear's a legit BJJ black belt. This guy's incredible on the ground, but he needs to use it. He needs to go out there and get takedowns. So if I could count on Blackshear to 100% wrestle, I'd probably, minus 310 is probably not bad. But the worry is Damon Blackshear keeps striking with these guys. Like, why didn't he take down Alatang Haley and sub him? Why didn't he take down Cody Gibson in that first round and sub him? I don't get it. But he better grapple here. If not, he probably loses this fight. Davey Grant's a very awkward, very tricky striker. Really good volume. A lot of power. I don't think Damon Blackshear is going to like what's coming back at him on the feet. So, in terms of making a pick, I got to go Blackshear just because it's like so clear. Like it's so clear that he needs to grapple, and if he does, I think he'll win pretty easily. So give me Damon Blackshear. I think he finishes Davey Grant in the very first round by submission. Up next, we have Carlos Leal going against Muslim Salikhov. We got Leal minus 500. We got Muslim Salikhov plus 375. A lot of big favorites this card. I believe Leal is the second biggest favorite on the card. And yeah, you'll notice down there, and my graphics guy, he actually did not make a mistake this time. He put 41 years old for Salikhov. So that's what he says he is. But, I'm going to call him out on this, for the rest of his career. Muslim Salikhov is a liar. Muslim Salikhov is not 41 years old. He's just not. He's not 41 years old. Muslim Salikhov is at least 60 years old. I mean, he's an old man. I mean, look at him. Look at him. And that picture was probably 15 years ago. That picture was probably 15, 20 years ago. I mean, look at him now. It's bad. It's bad. I should have put an updated picture. But yeah, he's not 41. He's like 65, 70. Carlos Leal made his debut against Rinat Fakhretdinov, and it was one of the worst robberies of all time. And probably the worst robbery of last year. It was very bad. Like, I was watching the fight, and I think I scored it like 30-27 Leal, and the judges were like 30-27 Reinier. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy just got robbed, and he was pissed off. Apparently, he had to been pissed off because look at how he came in there and fought poor Alex Morono the last time. He went out there, he marched Alex Morono down, and just beat the brakes off of him. It was actually quite sad. I actually kind of felt bad for Alex Morono there, but yeah, that's what Leal does though. Leal's not scared of anything, it looks like. He's going to go in there, he's going to march you down, he's going to pressure, and he's going to try to take off your head. And that's what he's going to do here, and that's what he's going to need to do. Muslim Salikhov does not like being pressured. Muslim Salikhov needs that space. He needs that space to throw the spinning old kicks, the spins. He needs space to do these things, and Carlos Leal's not going to give him space. Carlos Leal is going to pressure from the jump. He's going to walk through the fire, and he's going to put it on Muslim Salikhov from the very beginning of the fight. So, this fight kind of reminds me of the Leach fight. When Leach fought Muslim Salikhov, Leach did exactly that. Just pressured, landing big shots, pressured. Muslim Salikhov is going to slow down. He doesn't like that pressure, and I think that's exactly what Leal's going to do. Leal's going to pressure him. He's going to land big shots, and he's going to finish Muslim Salikhov in the first 2 rounds. So I like Carlos Leal here. As long as he doesn't run into a spinning old kick, I think he should go out there and knock out Salikhov. I'll say Carlos Leal by 2nd round knockout. Next up, we have a very intriguing fight here. Bryce Mitchell going against Said Nurmagomedov. We got Bryce Mitchell minus 120, Said Nurmagomedov plus 100. So this is a very interesting fight to break down because there are very strong arguments for both sides. One thing to mention, Bryce Mitchell's cutting down to bantamweight for the first time, I believe for the first time in his career. And I kind of want to see, Bryce Mitchell on the scale and all that. But, this is a fight where, Bryce Mitchell, he can get takedowns here potentially. He can get some top time. But, one thing I really worry about for Bryce Mitchell is, he just puts his neck in a bunch of bad spots when he's going for takedowns. It happened a bunch in the Gene Silva fight. And Said Nurmagomedov, I think he's a flashy striker. I do like the striking. I do like the spinning attacks and all that he does. It's fun to watch. And he's not much of a grappler. He's not going to go out there and try to take you down. He's not going to go out there and try to take you down and sub you. And not really. He's primarily a striker. But if you try to grapple him, he's snatching up your neck, and he's done it 3 different times in the UFC. Said Nurmagomedov got a guillotine choke against Nguyen in the first 60 seconds of that fight. Gafarov shot in, it was a wrap. Against Sadyad Kakhramonov, who's a very good wrestler, a very good fighter. Kakhramonov took him down 5 times, but Said put him in multiple chokes. Said was able to get out of a couple of them, but in that second round, Said got in on deep on a choke and submitted him, got to his neck. And then Cody Stamann shoots in for a takedown and gets his neck snatched up in 47 seconds. So my worry here is Bryce Mitchell needs to wrestle. Bryce Mitchell is an underrated striker, but you have to absolutely favor the striking of Said Nurmagomedov. Just much more flashy, much more dangerous, landing a lot harder. Bryce Mitchell needs to wrestle. And if he's wrestling, he's got to be very, very careful. Said's going to be threatening with those submissions at all times. And on top of that, Said isn't an easy guy to hold down. We saw the Kakhramonov fight, he was standing back up, pretty much every single time when Said, took him down. And so I don't think it's going to be easy for Bryce Mitchell to take and hold down Said Nurmagomedov here. So I like Nurmagomedov here. I don't want to say I'm surprised, but this line I think flipped. I remember seeing Said Nurmagomedov as a minus 120 favorite. Now he's a plus 100 underdog, and kind of curious to see where this line goes. But I favor Said Nurmagomedov in the striking, and I also think he can really threaten with those front chokes. He has some of the nastiest front chokes in the division for sure. So I'm going to take Nurmagomedov to win this fight. I think he can win it in a couple different ways, but the way I see it, and I think the way a lot of people that are going to be on the Nurmagomedov side see it, is going to be a front choke, So I'm going to take Said Nurmagomedov to win this fight. I'll take him to win this fight by second round submission. Next up, we have Nikita Krylov going against Bogdan Guskov. We got Krylov minus 190, Guskov plus 165. So this is one of those fights where it's man, I know people love Guskov and all that, but I'm going back and watching these Guskov fights, and it's like this guy made Volkan Oezdemir look like, I don't know, look like a beat Nurmagomedov out there. It was bad. I mean, Oezdemir took him down, beat him up a little bit on the ground. They got back up, and then Oezdemir dropped him, and then Oezdemir subbed him. I mean, I think that was Oezdemir's first ever submission as far as I'm concerned. And then we saw Ryan Spann, who, he's decent in the first round. Ryan Spann was able to take him down and get into dominant positions, almost finish him early on. And, that wasn't the best look. Got him in a pretty deep choke, it looked like, flattened him out. That wasn't a great look. And then what really did it for me was Billy Elekana coming in there on 5 days' notice, taking down Bogdan Guskov, getting on top, and winning like half the first round there before getting reversed. It's like, geez, his ground game might be an issue. And he is a brown belt. I mean, this guy apparently is a brown belt. I haven't seen it personally because anytime I've seen him on his back, it's been very bad. But yeah, he's a brown belt. But Krylov is going to have a very, very significant grappling advantage here. If these guys stand and trade on the feet, yeah, Krylov could get knocked out. Krylov's very hittable. He's a 44% striking defense. I worry about the durability of Krylov. This guy, at one point was durable, but he's getting hurt, more and more in these fights. Got knocked out badly by Dominic Reyes not too long ago. So I think it all comes down to Krylov going out there and getting takedowns. And if he does, I think he makes it look easy. But if he doesn't, he could be getting knocked out here by Bogdan. So yeah, minus 190. I kind of thought this line would be a lot closer because there is a lot of hype on Bogdan Guskov for some reason. But, I mean, Nikita Krylov just has significant. I mean, if Billy Elekana and Volkan Oezdemir are out grappling you, I mean, Nikita Krylov should just run right through you. So I got to go Krylov here. I am worried about him. I'm worried about the fight IQ. I'm worried about the durability. I'm worried about where he's at in his career. But if he goes out there and gets takedowns, he should make this look quite easy. So give me Nikita Krylov to win this fight by first round submission. Next up, we have probably fight of the night. I mean, this fight's going to be extremely fun. Jose Ochoa, also Almabayev. We got a nice striker versus grappler matchup. Minus 110 pick him each way. And striker versus grappler matchup. Not saying Ochoa can't grapple. He can. He does have some sneaky chokes. And not saying also Almabayev can't strike. He kind of can. A little low volume, but his striking's okay. But it's like Jose Ochoa is going to have a big advantage on the feet. Also, Almabayev is not going to want to strike with this guy whatsoever. Jose Ochoa is an animal in the striking. One of those shoot-to-box guys with that shoot-to-box style who's just going to come forward. He's going to put 110% into all of his shots, throw things and land things without a care in the world, eat one to give one. And I don't think also Almabayev is going to want any of that on the feet. So Almabayev is going to go out there and he's going to try to get this fight down to the ground. And it's all going to come down to whether or not, Ochoa can stuff these takedowns, can get back up if he gets taken down. And I lean towards he will. There's not a ton of footage of Ochoa, getting taken down. There was of course, the Durden fight. The Durden fight where, Durden was able to take him down a couple times, but he got back up, right? And once he did get back up, he was landing some massive shots on the feet. I'm not sure how Durden survived a couple of those big shots in the first round. And then once the second round hit, Jose Ochoa landed a big shot and put Cody Durden out, who's typically a durable guy. So kind of how I see the fight playing out is I do think Almabayev might get some takedowns here or there, but I think Ochoa will be able to work his way back up. And then once his fight's on the feet, I kind of feel like it's one-way traffic. I mean, I don't think Almabayev has the volume to compete with Ochoa on the feet. And Almabayev has no power. I know he knocked down Nicolau, but Nicolau gets knocked down by a gust of wind. I mean, the power differential here is heavily in favor of Jose Ochoa. The finishing ability is heavily in favor of Jose Ochoa. So I like Ochoa here. I think this guy's a legit prospect, 24 years old. The younger guy here, the more dangerous guy here. We could see Almabayev hump his leg for 15 minutes, but, I think Ochoa is going to show some urgency, get back up, and once it is up on the feet, I think he's going to do a lot of damage and potentially knock out Almabayev, and that's what I'll pick. I'll pick him to knock out also Almabayev, and I'll take him to win by second round knockout. Next up, we have Shara Magomedov going against Marc-Andre Barriault. Magomedov minus 700, Marc-Andre Barriault plus 500. So clears. I mean, this is about as clear of a setup spot as you're going to get. They're taking Marc-Andre Barriault, who, Probably washed. I mean, I think he's probably washed. I was all over Barriault in his last fight against Bruno Silva, but that was only because Bruno Silva was the most washed fighter on the roster, and a lot of people were picking Bruno Silva against Marc-Andre Barriault. And Barriault looked great, but again, it's against Bruno Silva, who was on like a 5-fight losing streak and even admitted to not wanting to be in there and fighting, right? And prior to that, it's like I had major concerns, and I think everybody had major concerns about the durability of Marc-Andre Barriault, because at one point, Barriault was known for that durability, and then all of a sudden, he got finished in 10 seconds by Chidi and Jaquani, got knocked out by Joe Pyfer. Nothing's wrong with getting knocked out by Chidi or knocked out by Joe Pyfer, but he also got knocked out by Dustin Stoltzfus, and that's kind of where it's like, yikes, man, something's wrong. The chin's not quite there anymore. If you're getting knocked out by a grappler and Dustin Stoltzfus, it's bad. So, yeah, it's hard to not imagine, because Marc-Andre is going to strike with Shara. Just simple as that. Marc-Andre Barriault, this guy's landed maybe 1 or 2 takedowns in his career. He's not going to wrestle him, not going to grapple him. They're going to strike, and I don't trust the chin of Marc-Andre. I just don't. If you're getting knocked out by Dustin Stoltzfus, your chin's probably long gone. So I got Shara here. I think Shara knocks him out. Shara, I'll say 3rd round knockout for Shara Magomedov. Could come in any round, but I'll go Shara Magomedov for a 3rd round knockout there. Up next, we have the co-main event, Petr Yan going against Marcus McGhee. We have Petr Yan minus 330, Marcus McGhee plus 270, and this fight makes 0 sense to me. Just makes no sense. No sense whatsoever, because Petr Yan is coming off of wins against guys like Song Yadong, coming off wins against guys like Davis and Figueiredo, went to a very close decision with Sean O'Malley, went to a very close decision with Aljamain Sterling in their second fight, beat a guy in Corey Sandhagen, and he's taking just an astronomical step down in the ranking. I'm not even sure if I'm pretty confident McGhee's not even ranked at bantamweight. I'm not even sure if he's even close to being ranked. I'll have to check, but yeah, Petr Yan, who's honestly, Petr Yan's like a top 3 guy in the division. I'll say he's like top 3 in the bantamweight division, and he's fighting Marcus McGhee. I don't get it. So Yan's taking a big step down. Marcus McGhee is a guy who, a fan favorite. People love Marcus McGhee. People love this guy. A lot of hype on the guy. At least there was. And I think a lot of that hype kind of died down after his last win against Martinez, because it wasn't the best performance. Like, he looked good early on, then Martinez started kicking his legs a little bit, and McGhee was starting to get hurt to the legs, and it wasn't the best performance. But yeah, prior to that, he had 3 finishes in a row. But it's like, you look at these finishes, and it's like Journey Newson, not great. JP Bays, not great. And Gaston Bolaños, absolutely not great. So best win is definitely Martinez, and that fight and that win was kind of lackluster. So I have to go Petr Yan here. Again, this fight makes no sense to me. If Petr Yan loses this fight, I'd be quite surprised. I know McGhee's good. I know McGhee's a good fighter. He's a good striker, and I like a lot of things that McGhee does. But it's like Petr Yan, is going out there and beating the best guys in the division outside of Merab. So, yeah, got to go Petr Yan here. I'll take him to win this fight by decision. And, should be Petr Yan here by decision. Up next, we have the main event. If you guys have not already, be sure to like the video. Leave me a comment. The comments do help out the algorithm, and it's very much appreciated. But, yeah, main event here, Robert Whittaker, Reinier de Ridder. Whittaker minus 145, de Ridder is plus 125. And these odds kind of surprised me, because a lot of people like de Ridder. He's a fan favorite. And he just beat Bo Nickel, who Bo Nickel was a hyped up fan favorite that a lot of people, really liked. And Bo Nickel was a minus 350 favorite in the fight against Reinier de Ridder. And de Ridder was the one that looked like the big favorite. And de Ridder went out there and not only won the fight, but dominated. And it really wasn't even close. So I kind of thought, these odds would be a lot closer. And I think they might trend that way, throughout fight week. But for me, I'm just not completely sold on de Ridder yet. Like, I'm watching these fights. Like, this guy, Like, he went life and death with Gerald Meerschaert. Like, I can't just ignore that. I know it was his debut, but, I mean, I just can't ignore that. I mean, he was getting outstruck by Gerald Meerschaert. Went life and death with him. I mean, it's hard to get that out of my head. I've seen this guy quit before. His cardio is very bad. And it's just hard to get this stuff out of my head. But, yeah, he's going out there and he's winning. It kind of reminds me of, like, Dricus du Plessis, where it's like, I'm watching these Dricus fights, and it's like, oh, my gosh. He's getting tired after 1 minute. Oh my goodness. What is he doing out there? And then Dricus goes out there and just beats everybody. It reminds me of Dricus. It's like Reinier, it's like he's getting out struck by Meerschaert. He's going life and death with him. He's literally quitting in fights. And now he's 3-0 in the UFC. But he's taken a big step up in competition here, right? Like, yes, he submitted Meerschaert, he submitted Holland. He knocked out Bo Nickel, but now he's taking, like, this is a true test here for DeRitter. We're going to find out how good DeRitter actually is, because Robert Whittaker is a great test for him. Robert Whittaker just got taken down and submitted by Khamzat Chimaev not too long ago. A little bit, I think it was October of last year. But prior to that, it's like nobody's ever taken down Robert Whittaker and done that. Nobody has ever taken down Robert Whittaker, really in general. Like, nobody's typically taken down Whittaker. Whittaker does have elite takedown defense, but Chimaev was able to go out there, take him down, and submit him quite easily. But it's like, I'm pretty sure DeRitter is not on the level of Khamzat Chimaev when it comes to the wrestling. The grappling is another story. DeRitter is a high-level grappler, but Khamzat Chimaev has that really good wrestling, very physically strong. So, yeah, I mean, I guess DeRitter could potentially take down Whittaker and maybe get him out of there early, but if this fight gets extended and it is a 5-round fight, it's going to heavily favor Robert Whittaker. On the feet, I think Robert Whittaker has an astronomical striking advantage. Like, if you're getting outstruck by GM3, something's up. So, yeah, worried about the first round, maybe round and a half, but if DeRitter's not taking down and submitting Whittaker just like Khamzat did, if he's not able to do that, I think it's going to get very bad for him very quickly. So I like Whittaker here. I know it's going to be I think a lot of people are going to be on DeRitter this week, but I got to go Whittaker. I absolutely have to go Whittaker. So I'm going to take Whittaker, and I think he probably does knock out DeRitter late in the fight. I'll say Robert Whittaker by third round knockout in this one. And there you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys could, again, like on your way out, subscribe on your way out. If you guys want more content, check out dfsbythenumbers.com. That's where you'll get early access to my bets, betting write-ups, best bet article, and a lot more. We got Dana White's Contender Series coming up in a couple weeks as well. So now's a great time to sign up and get some more content, or just support me more if you would like to do so. And yeah, looking forward to this card. Early start time, looking forward to that, and looking forward to some good fight. I think it's going to be some good fights. So best of luck, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. See you later.